Welcome everyone to Earth Song, service and support for Gaia and the New Earth human. Join us as we bring in messages from our beautiful planet, and we also are here to invoke healing and blessings to humanity, nature, and all that is. Join us on this Earth Song journey. Hello, friends. Hello. And welcome to this Earth Song series episode of the show about weather shamanism. If you're new, welcome to TLC for the Soul. And if you're returning, as always, my beautiful TLC for the Soul family, welcome back as we explore this very interesting topic that's been at the forefront of my mind and my heart for a little while now. So I thought we would just talk a little bit about this concept of weather shamanism, what it is, or what we think it is. And I've got an excerpt, like couple of paragraphs from a book about weather shamanism that I want to share. And then I thought we might journey to some weather spirits and talk to them if they're willing to talk to us. But before we get into all of that juicy goodness, I want to get us all in sacred space as I wrap us all in love light and light love, inviting in the spirit guides who overlight this show, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians, and more. As I asked who wanted to join me on this show, because I kind of always like any of the work to be overlighted by, obviously, Source, but for me to have a guide or a teacher or something to help us with certain topics that we may not be very familiar with. So settle in and let's see. Grab yourself a drink and have some, it's heart trilogy kombucha. I do want to light some incense since this is a shamanic episode or show. I always like to call in the helping spirits. I've got the box O incense here, and I'm going to just kind of see which one wants to work with us. Right. This is my, I don't know if you can see it in this lighting. It's not very good. This is the element of water incense from the Nippon Kodo incense from Japan. And I don't use them very often because I don't think they make them anymore. But this is the element of water. Aroma of green mist, ice water, and musk note. Powerfully soothing sensations touched by Iceland's majestic Didafus waterfall. It's so touching that this water incense comes out. We are deep in Scorpio season as I'm recording this, about a week before the Sagittarius new moon in November. And where I live here, it's been snowing already for several, I don't know, maybe it's only been a week. It feels like forever already. As the people that do my snow removal were like, welcome to winter. And I really am in like shock about winter here in North Dakota. And I was curious, like, is this just typical weather? Is this not some sort of extreme, like, weather gone wrong? Is this extreme winter feeling that I'm already feeling and kind of like dreading. I'm trying to feel the magic in it, and I'm trying to work with some guides who embody the winter spirits. But here's my little thing. I'm not there yet. Let's just put it that way. Having grown up and spent most of my life in Texas and California, this is definitely, I have to say I'm like shell shocked with the weather. All right. So inviting in the spirit of water. And it's interesting that we had the owl want to kind of join us. Oh, it smells so good. This owl to me is like a feminine, kind of intuitive, kind of a winged bird. It smells really good. Representing water and the feminine. And, you know, I thought, I'll be no good to anybody if I, but most of all to myself, if I sit around and just every day proclaim how much I don't like this weather. Part of all of this, the spiritual practice I do is, and this is, I'm sharing this personal story for a reason, because this may be touching some part of your life as well. Maybe it doesn't have to do with weather, maybe it has to do with something else, but part of the spiritual practice I do is like detaching from outcomes and doing a lot of mindfulness and working with the higher self types of meditation, unity consciousness and Christ consciousness and all of that. And part of that is, you know, nothing outside of the I am presence, the higher self. It's all kind of, you know, it's all external to the self. Anything going on, be it whether you don't like or anything in your external reality, is outside of the self. And so, like my teacher, Master Ko, says, like, if you are, you know, focused on that instead of taking control of your, you as the soul, taking control of your emotions and your thoughts and your physical avatar, if you're letting things outside of you control you, then in his words, he'd be like, then you're screwed. So I can't, you know, this is a big soul lesson, but it's a lesson for all of us. So as I sat here and I thought to myself, like, my house is pretty much right outside, just walk up the path, like, I don't know how many feet, just right back there this way is the Native American Indian burial grounds and the medicine wheel. It's pretty much my backyard. And those spirits of the land, many of the elders of the indigenous tribes that lived in that little space along the river there, show up for me when I walk up towards the medicine wheel. Very compassionate spirits. And I feel like, I don't know, I'll have to put a picture of it. Of course, now it's all covered in snow. But I feel like the medicine person of that tribe lived like in a big, I don't know, it was a teepee or whatever they lived in, like pretty much right outside my back fence. I can just feel like there's this thing of trees, and I can just feel like that is a place of power, but it's kind of set back from the rest of the community. So I feel like that was like the medicine person's abode. And, you know, I'm kind of touch base with these folks like, how did y'all do it? You know, how did y'all do it with these weather extremes? And I'm sure it was like that back then although we hear all this talk about, you know, like global warming and all of that and the planet changing and this, that, and the other. And not that I don't doubt that that's happening. Something's happening, right, to change weather patterns and all of that. But part of it is because I think nobody's really paying attention to not necessarily Gaia, but, well, nobody's really many people aren't paying attention to Gaia either, until it impacts them directly, in whatever way it might, in the form of a blizzard or a hurricane or a tornado that wipes out your stuff, and then you're like, cursing the weather. But I've seen firsthand how paying homage and reverence to weather beings does actually make a difference. And I've been kind of fascinated by that. So this was, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 5 years ago or so. What would be 5 years ago? Where am I? Yeah, probably like 5 years ago. I was invited by a soul sister to participate in a rain dance for the Topanga Canyon area of California. And California is always in a drought, but we were just like, oh my gosh, we had like, I don't know how long I'd lived in California, and we probably had rain like 3 or 4 times. And many years I lived there, and we probably had rain like 3 or 4 times. And Sanjay had wanted to do a rain dance to bring in rain. And so many of us, I don't even know how many of us there were. It was a very big circle of practitioners gathered on Malibu Beach, kind of in that area, to do this rain dance. And Sanjay's very ceremonial. It was a very ceremonial, very specifically done rain dance, native, like indigenous rain dance that we did. And I remember it was the middle of summertime. I don't even know what month it was, but it was so, so hot on the beach. And I actually ended up getting like heat stroke in the process of doing this, because it was so freaking hot. And I was like the only one. I'm like the only one baking and dying on this beach. Right? And you think right by the beach, right? So I was so sensitive to the sun. And this was even like sun setting period of time, but it ended up being like 85 degrees on the beach at that time. And I remember I almost fainted, and all this stuff had to happen. And finally I recovered, and I was able to participate in this rain dance. But even that was kind of like some sort of initiation into the fact that weather impacts us in many different ways. And so we did this rain dance, and power of 3 days later, it did rain quite significantly in that area. And so that was considered a quote unquote successful rain dance. I don't know. But what I want to do here is I found this book on, it's the only book I was really able to find on weather shamanism. I haven't even gotten the book, but it's Shamanism and the Spirits of Weather by Nan Moss and David Corbin. It is actually a book. This is a little excerpt from it. But they talk about how they were in the Catskill Mountains. They had 23 people doing a shamanic journey, and they wanted to journey to the spirit of weather. And they weren't sure, like, is it one spirit? Is it many spirits? You know, I think this was just like a visionary journey, like a search, just to go in and see what would happen if they said, you know, we're going to journey to the spirit of weather, and if we find one, we're going to ask that spirit of weather a question on behalf of the circle. And so as, I guess this is Nan talking, writing the book. They're drumming, her and her partner, I think, David, are drumming, and Nan says, "Oh, I'm going to participate too." She says, "I journeyed to the upper world with several of my power animals, asking to meet the spirit of weather." She feels really excited as she flies through a layer of storm clouds, up and up, searching until she's finally face to face with a cloud being. He's imposingly large, with lightning shimmering in his eyes, and when he speaks, snowballs tumble from his mouth. I feel glad to have my power animals nearby, as she introduces herself and respectfully asks the cloud being for a teaching for the community. She says, "I'm genuinely surprised, even dismayed, as he lets me have it, quote unquote. He is unmistakably annoyed, and he tells me that our culture has essentially forgotten him, that in times past, people all over the world spoke to, prayed to, and worked with him. Now he is ignored. Now our science and knowledge attempt to depersonalize and despirit him. So he creates aberrant, rough weather to get us to take notice, to puzzle over, and to know that we do not know." And she says, "As I feel this spirit's mood, I am speechless, and all she can do is say thank you for the teaching and promise to share that with the circle and the community." And then I thought the other thing that was interesting is, from this excerpt, is that other indigenous cultures around the world know that everything has spirit. Rocks, animals, plants, trees, places, rivers, storms, mountains, and oceans. And many cultures recognize and work with the spirits of weather. And that the elders of the, I'm going to say it wrong probably, but Athapascan Koyukon peoples of the northern forests of contemporary Alaska have noticed signs of disorder, both obvious and subtle, even in their local wilderness environment. Animals are behaving abnormally, such as ravens coming into the villages and begging for food like orphans with no self-respect. The Koyukon attribute this apparent imbalance to the loss of medicine people, to the loss of those willing and able to work with the spirits of the animals and the elemental forces of nature. Today, many fear we are in a time of aberrant and worsening weather conditions, megastorms, killer heat waves, El Nino and La Nina, floods and droughts. And it's worth pondering how today's weather events may be exacerbated much less, or by realizing that there's weather spirits and that we have the ability and the time to reestablish an aware relationship with these spirits, as well as with all the spirits with whom we share this world. So it's talking about I think I'm gonna get the book. But one thing that was interesting is kind of like that weather spirits are not compassionate spirits like the beings of the upper world. So like the angelic realms, archangels, and so forth, that are like compassionate spirits and ascended masters. That weather beings were more, what's the word? Like neutral, because they're here to perform a certain purpose. And so it's a little bit, I guess, harder to quote unquote get on their good side, because, and be like, please come over here and move this cloud from my house out of here. Because they're not really here to like please us individually. They're here to do a job on behalf of Gaia. And so I started reading in this book about weather working, because I was like, can we just make this snow go somewhere else? But it's not as easy as that. It's more bringing things back into balance. So you hear about like, oh, this was a mild winter versus the last winter, which was really horrible. And I started thinking about, who are my who are my local weather spirits? I don't know them. As I see it snowing again, I don't know them. I don't know how they feel about what's going on in this area, and so I'm thinking the same for you. Like maybe you don't like that there's not enough rain, or maybe there's too much wind, or maybe all of you, I think, that pay attention to spirituality have your own. You are your own, shaman, medicine person, witch, warlock, put whatever title to yourself that you want to put to yourself. And I think there is, if you want to work with the spirit world, then I think there's this missed opportunity as we, talk about how much we love Gaia and we love the earth and we love the trees and the rivers and the oceans, and somewhere in there that those are the physical manifestations of higher beings, of the elements of water, earth, fire, and air. And I feel like there's this middle layer that's kind of missed. It's like, we bless the elements themselves, and we kind of like love their 3D representation on the planet, this stream or this babbling brook or this tree or whatever. But somewhere in between, there's these weather spirits who also use the elements as their tools to accomplish certain things on the planet. And how can we work with them to bring a better balance to what's going on? And I don't have any answers to that. I thought we could do a short journey. I've got the Thunderbird drum, and there were some questions that Nan and David put in their book about journey suggestions for working with weather. For those who are interested in exploring their relationship with the spirits of weather, here are some journey suggestions. What would be an alive, harmonious relationship with the spirits of weather? What would an alive, harmonious relationship with the spirits of weather be like? What does that even look like? Earlier today I was like, maybe I need to make an altar dedicated to winter and snow and all that. Maybe I need to leave a spirit plate out for weather. Like, what would an elder from long ago who did weather working more consciously, like what would they do? What would they have done to, I don't want to just appease weather. I want to, like a harmonious relationship. I want to have a harmonious relationship with the spirits of weather. The next question was, how can I prepare myself to harmoniously and effectively work with the spirits of weather? And the last one, which I think is pretty important, what are the ethics of working to influence the weather? So I thought we would take the first one today, and maybe this becomes a little series, this weather working or this weather shamanism. And we just start with the bare basics. If you are new to this like I am, we journey in with our guides, our power animals, and we journey to, I would say we should journey to our local weather spirits. I'm just going to call them local weather spirits because I don't know who they are. So I would ask to be taken to mine that kind of oversee my area. Same thing for you, that oversee your area. And just like introduce ourselves to them that we're interested in building a harmonious relationship with them. And are they even open to that? Because like this, what is it? This cloud being that they journeyed to kind of like was upset. And I don't even know if that cloud being would be interested in having a harmonious relationship. So I'm going to guide us in a little bit. And at some point, I'm going to let you just go where you need to go to see who you need to see and see what we come out of this journey with. I don't want to jump right into what are the ethics of working to influence the weather, because I don't even think we're there yet. Like, just like you would like meet somebody new, you wouldn't immediately try to influence them and get them to do your bidding or something, right? Like, I'm thinking of weather spirits just like I would any other spirit friend, or any other 3D friend. First, we've got to introduce ourselves and kind of get to know a little bit about each other. And then, you know, as we build on this relationship, then we can start having deeper conversations with these spirit friends about, you know, what is that even possible to influence the weather? I think it is, but I'm not sure. So let's just pick up the drum and do a short little journey today with the objective of meeting your local weather spirits. You know, who are they? Who wants to step forward? What are they? Are they interested in having a harmonious relationship with a shaman, medicine person, witch, warlock, whoever you want, however you introduce yourself? And just kind of see, hey. Come on now. See, look, this went out. Let me just get our water incense going again while you get your little journey mindset going. Why does that tip over? Do not tip over. It's like the candle and the stick just want to, like, there. Leave each other alone. All right. So I thought this little thunderbird drum would be quite interesting because it's like a thunderbird, thunder being. All right, let's take a deep breath together. Inviting in the guides who want to journey with us as we go to meet spirits of our local weather spirits, to introduce ourselves to them and let them know that we are interested in building a harmonious relationship with them. We meet together, all of us. Envision yourself as you close your eyes and get comfortable, sitting around the sacred medicine wheel, a place so many that have come before us have danced, chanted, sung, prayed, worshipped, and journeyed on behalf of their community. Today we are here with the elders of this space and this place, your own power animals and spirit guides who want to join you on this journey. Our objective, our intention as we sit around this sacred medicine wheel is to journey to the weather spirits of the land which you live in, going up to the places where the thunder beings reside, snow clouds and rain clouds, wind. Each one of you may meet a different weather being specific to your area. Take a deep breath together. Spirits of the North, blessings and love to you, thank you. Great Mother Bear, please join us as we light the fire of this sacred circle and invite you in to help hold this space. Spirit keepers of the East, Peregrine Falcon, blessings and love to you, thank you. Spirits of Air, please join us in this sacred circle. Help hold the space as we journey to the spirits of weather. Guardians, gatekeepers, spirits of the South, blessings and love to you, thank you. Spirits of Fire, we invite you to join us, great Jaguar Spirit, in this sacred circle. Help us hold this space as we journey to the spirits of weather. Guardians, gatekeepers, elementals, sacred direction of west, element of water. Dolphin Spirit, blessings and love to you, thank you. Invite you in to help hold this sacred space as we journey to introduce ourselves to the spirits of weather, our local weather spirits. Inviting in our power animals, guides, wisdom keepers of your choosing, who are going to go with you now on this journey. See your guide, step forward. Notice who shows up for you. How they show up for you. As they invite you to fly up to the upper realms of the middle world, where the weather spirits reside. Our intention as we come with humble hearts, an offering of gratitude, and an introduction of who we are. Go with your guide now. Notice how they take you to this upper realm of the middle worlds. Are you flying on the back of a big bird? Are you shooting up like an arrow through the sky? Travel up on a winged horse, an Appaloosa, with an Iroquois elder by my side. Are there any local weather spirits that would like to meet with us today? We land in the upper realms of the middle world. Allow your guide to show you. spirit you are speaking with for any messages, any suggestions on how you will work together. Receive any final messages, insights from your weather spirit. Say any final words to each other. Thank the weather spirit that you've met today. If there's any name they would like to share with you, how you can call on them in the future. Now, they're stepping back. Your guide beckons you to follow as you get back on the winged Appaloosa. My Iroquois guide brings me back down, 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 out of the upper middle world, back to the medicine wheel. Thank your guide for holding space for you on this journey. Slowly, slowly come back into your body. Wiggle fingers and toes. Slowly, slowly open your eyes. Okay, how was that? It was quite interesting. I will share just quickly before we wrap this up. I did actually meet a weather spirit, a local weather spirit. And he was a storm cloud. And I said, "Are you like the only spirit of the weather that wants to work with us?" And he's like, "No, there's a lot of us, but we're kind of like a consortium, and I am the emissary speaking on behalf of these weather spirits." And I just asked him if there was anything we should be doing to work together. Like, did they even want to work with us? In this case, me, because I'm doing my thing. I don't know what hopefully yours said yes to, but I'm like, do you even want to work with me? Is there anything, we have to learn from each other? And they are willing to work with us. This one actually was not a mean cloud. He actually told me, and this is very true, I have been fascinated by storms, thunderstorms and tornadoes and stuff ever since I was a little girl. So he's like, we recognize how much you love the weather. And so I said, well, how do I work with you? And he's like, well, create a weather altar and just come back here often to talk to us. Like, we have already 2 other journeys that we have planned to go back and talk to these weather spirits, but it's a symbiotic relationship like anything else. So creating the weather altar, remembering them. In this case, my storm cloud gave me a name that I could use to call him by. And I asked him for a message for this group, and he said to say that we're not all angry and mean, like just because we're not all angry weather spirits, we're not all, bent on revenge, here to create storms. I think that they are willing to help us find some sort of a balance. It's got to start somewhere, right? It's got to start with some little ragtag band of shamans who want to work with the weather. It's got to start somewhere. And just like in the book excerpt from the book, where the indigenous folks in Alaska said, we noticed the ravens coming down out of the woods and begging for food from the local community. And if there had been a local shaman, that local shaman would have told that raven, you don't belong here. Like, go back home and find food your own way. You're being a coward. You're not even looking for food in the forest. You're coming down and like you're expecting a handout on a plate. So, just like I do feel like, and many of you too, I know you are. I know many of you are solitary practitioners. I'm like the house at the end of I'm always like the house at the end of the row kind of thing. I do find that kind of fascinating. Just like in any past lives where I was a medicine person, the shaman, the medicine person, you're always like the teepee or the hut at the very edge of the community. And I think we're all a little bit kind of like that in terms of how we practice. And I just think if each of us in our own little communities, because I know there's people watching all over the world and listening all over the world, if just half of you decided like, oh, I want to take this up and just make it a part of my spiritual practice. It's not like you're all encompassing, thing you do all the time, but, remembering these spirits and talking to them, and let's see how we can work harmoniously with them and see if there's any type of change, or maybe nothing needs to be changed. Let's just see what type of relationship we can build with these weather spirits over time and see what that evolves into. I'm just asking the guides that are here. Archangel Sandalphon and Archangel Raziel are the guides that step forward and want to work with me with this weather shamanism stuff, in addition to some indigenous elders and so forth that have also stepped forward. So I want to just ask them if there's anything else. So they're saying we're not really here to influence the weather. That's not the job. That's not the job. The job is not to influence the weather by, painting our spiritual chemtrails around in the sky and expecting that, weather is going to change on demand. That's not what we're here for. We're not here to wave our wand and say, go away, storm cloud. We're here to better understand, and I think understand and build a relationship so that maybe things start to evenly balance out over time. We are not here we're not here to send weather somewhere else that we don't, send weather somewhere else that we don't like. We're here to learn how to work with the spirits of the land, the spirits of the earth, and to build these harmonious relationships with the other worlds. So I think that's all we have for now. I like how the incense almost looked like a little tornado there. So I want to thank you all so much for joining me, and we will see you all again soon. Take care.